Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Drafts and Drafts. This is Drafts and Drafts with Timmy McBee and Adam E. I am so excited to be here tonight, and I am here with my fantastic, amazing, incredibly good-looking co-host, Mr. Adam E. Adam, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm pretty good. Last night, the Ottawa Senators, who I refer to as the good guys, won, so that always puts me in a good mood. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I gotta. It's funny you say that because my team's been up and down. The Leafs were doing really well for a number of weeks, first in the league. I got a solid wager with a couple of people about them finishing first or second in the division, which I'm still feeling good about. But 5 of 7 losses in the last couple of weeks. So I'm excited that they have a break, and I'm definitely following along closely. So far so good. I'll always take it when the Leafs are near the top of the standings for sure. I notice we also have another very good-looking gentleman on the screen here tonight. And Adam, why don't you let the crowd know? No, it's you. Why don't you let the crowd know who it is?
Well, he's a fellow Leafs fan like you. He was Timmy's first-year university roommate. He was my roommate here in Los Angeles for 4 years. He's a frequent user of finger guns. He's potentially the world record holder for the number of times watching Remember the Titans. It's Steve. Steve, how's it going?
Good, thanks. I like that you threw in the finger guns there. To be honest, I hadn't thought about them. May have to add something to the picks here. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're good, man. We're excited. I did not get the Carly Rae Jepsen memo, so I left my matching T-shirt upstairs. But Adam, I feel like you pull it off better than I would, anyways.
Yeah, big CRJ fan. Emotion in particular, that album, fantastic. If you think it sounds great, you should listen to it on vinyl, which I also have. So,
wow. Yeah. Okay. No, I can't say that when I think of classic vinyl albums that CRJ's Emotion is the first one that comes to mind. But it's an asset. It's an asset, that's for sure. I don't know if you guys have been following along with March Madness last I guess this past weekend. Adam, have you? I know you were struggling with some of the wagers, but how's your gambling? How's your bracket been going so far? Any successes? Any big busts?
With my gambling, I started off 2-0 and finished 3-11. So not so great. My bracket is pretty much done. 3 of my final 4 are out. Illinois I had winning; they're out. So not looking good.
It's funny you say that. I also had Illinois winning, and it was like kind of a shock that it's already done. And like one first weekend, and you're like, all right, well this is a waste of time. Essentially every other person in my pool is sitting on a Gonzaga championship, so I'm pretty much screwed. But what can you do? Steve, what about you? You have you been? I heard you were into the analysis on some of the mascot situations going on there.
Well, yeah, and I do think that's an easy thing to turn to when you're like me and don't know anything about basketball. I know that that's college basketball, and that's about as far as it goes. So yeah, personally, I typically try and figure out like which mascot might win. And this year, obviously, there's that very interesting article which went through the past tournaments and tried to figure out which categories of mascots were good. Colors, I think they were a pretty good one. So if you're picking colorful teams, good for you. I don't know which those are though. So
Syracuse, sort of like the Orange Men.
That's probably one of them.
They haven't lost yet, so.
Well, I mean, that my expert advice would be colors I think are good.
And I've been hearing that dog mascots beat cat mascots like 70% of the time. So,
which is why I looked it up in the first place, because I know someone here, maybe both of you, given you have a dog too, might be dog people, but I definitely am a cat person, and so I looked that one up, and I think the edge was very, very slight, like 2019 or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I can't say I agree with. Listen. I like cats. I've had cats my whole life. I have a dog now, so I'm a little biased. I know a couple of our close friends like Tito have multiple cats, so there's going to be like we're already biasing the votes, and we haven't even started this week.
I don't think we need to do the rest.
No, I think it's
like it seems like at this point it's one of you two.
Maybe.
for dogs.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of results and the March Madness, Adam, why don't you let the people know how the results went from last week's episode featuring Lisa?
Yeah, last week with the bronze medal, Timmy McBee with 12% of the vote.
12%.
12%.
Yeah.
With the silver medal, Adam E with 35%. And with the gold medal, Lisa was 53.
53%.
So it's pretty large margin, and obviously it's tough to train for 4 long days just to come home with the silver medal. But hopefully this week I'll have some better luck.
Yeah, I can't say that when I went into the week leading up to the Olympics that I felt like 12% would be an accomplishment. I honestly thought that I did perfectly fine. I've had worse drafts in our recent history, and 12% is an all-time low. So yeah, I'm not happy about it. Lisa, on the other hand, has been particularly happy. I know that. I also happen to know, I think we ended up receiving more votes than we had viewers or listeners. And so I don't know if there was some behind the scenes, system manipulation going on here, but
It's Russia. That's how it goes.
I'm personally on the side of counting all the votes, but
only if they're for you.
Maybe that's my belief in democracy.
Was there some performance enhancement by seeking outside coaching? We don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. All we know is that the votes came in and the numbers were what they were. Lisa stands by them. I think there's some, I think there's a lot of questionableness here. I think the IOC is launching a full-scale investigation, and the results are TBD. But we'll see. That's back-to-back guest weeks where we've had some questionable results. I don't know what's going on, but anyways, we're gonna rebound. And so this week we do what we're doing every week, and that's drafts and drafts. So this week we're doing a draft, and the theme is good guy things. We'll get into a little bit about what that means and why we're doing that. But just for those that haven't seen it, we have a theme, obviously, and we have 6 categories under that theme, and each of us is going to draft something in those categories, and we're going to work our way down through the categories, pick 6 items, and at the end, we're each going to have a team. And you guys, as the viewers and listeners, are going to let us know who you think the best team of the week is. You can vote after the show, either tonight or all day tomorrow. There's a poll on our Instagram at Drafts and Drafts Podcast as well. We are accepting late submissions on votes. We understand not everybody can watch or listen within 24 hours. So if you want to message us on Instagram, let us know who you think, and we will count your vote prior to next week's episode. So that being said, good guy things. I don't know, Adam. Do you think we have a good guest tonight?
Yeah. So in university, there was 2 kind of Steves in our friend group, and so one of them was named Good Steve, who we have the pleasure of joining us tonight, and the other one was named Shit Steve. So kind of a devil angel on your shoulder type situation. So in honor of Good Steve joining us, we figured we'd do good guy things.
Steve, do you feel like you're qualified to talk about this topic?
Absolutely not. That said, I am happy that between those 2 nicknames, I'm happy where I landed, because there's only 2 options, and I definitely feel like I got the better one. But I guess I just don't feel like solidly average Steve has the same ring to it, which is probably more accurate.
That's true. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with that said, I know you guys invited me on to show that the guests can lose, and I'm happy to be here for that.
We need sacrificial. I don't want to say what's the plural of lambs. Sacrificial lambs.
Lambses.
Lambses. Sacrificial lambses. So we appreciate you coming on. You didn't get the call for next week's episode called Shit Guy Things. No, it's just this week. And so just for a little more clarity and to get into it, Adam, why don't you take us through the categories of good guy things for tonight?
Yeah, they're a little bit open. So we have, I'll just go through them once first, and then we can explain them. Good guy, fake good guy, friend good guy move, stranger good guy move, good guy drink order, and good guy phrase. So good guy is just a good guy, probably someone famous, maybe a politician, maybe a celebrity. Fake good guy is someone who appears to be a good guy, but in reality is not so much a good guy. I think we generally know good guy moves. We had two of them, one that a friend would do and one with a complete stranger. Good guy drink order is there's a guy at the bar, he orders a drink, and based on his drink order, you can be like, that's a good guy. And then good guy phrase is just something a good guy says. So a little definitely open, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty out there category. We got a lot of room to maneuver here. I know for me, there's a couple topics where I don't really have 3 picks I'm confident in, but I'm hoping that it's wide scope enough that I'm not going to get stolen by the time we get there. And so we'll jump into the arguably most important draft of the night, and that is the drafts that we're drinking. So, Steve, for good guy things, what draft do you have on tap tonight?
See, I went out to try and get something on theme. So it is a West Coast IPA called Good Clean Fun.
That's nice.
And I warned them. I said, "Do you really want me to introduce first? Because I have a very on theme name." I just browsed through the store. I saw that one. I was like, oh, "Yes, this is weirdly perfect." It's from Port Moody, which is somewhere around here. I don't know. I've only been here 6 months, so I don't really know where anything is. Yeah, Twin Sails Brewing, 6.4%. That's should be good.
That doesn't sound like it's leading to good, clean fun, but all right, good.
Well, depends how many you have.
That's true. Only one. Good, clean fun, guys. What about you, Adam? What do you got going
on? Yeah, my beer is from McKellar Brewing Company in San Diego. It's a New England style IPA. It's 3 types of hops. It's a limited release, and they made it because they run into a large supply of experimental hop HBC 692, which we all know and love.
Of course.
And so it's called the McKellar Finger Guns.
The McKellar Finger Guns. Very, all right. Very, you guys are on point this week. Wow. Okay, pressure's on.
Wow.
Well, I was in the store and I was like, hey, WWSD, what would Steve do? And, I feel like Steve wakes up every day and he's like, you know what? I'm going to make the most of this day. I'm going to put a smile on my face. I'm going to have a good time. And so Steve's somebody that probably seizes the day. And so I have squeezed the day. And so Squeeze the Day is it's a Muskoka Brewery beer, if you want to call it that. It is a light beer. It's only 3.5%, but that's okay because it's good guy. We're having fun. It's nice, clean fun, as Steve mentioned. It is a grapefruit sparkling ale. So for those keeping track, I went from a strawberry IPA last week to a grapefruit sparkling ale this week. I am not giving myself much of a chance, but I thought, hey, let's jump on tonight and let's squeeze the day. So I'm excited to try it out. And so we're taking a while to get into this. We're almost there. Before we get in, we got to figure out the draft order. And for those that don't know, we do let the guest select the order of where they will draft. The history thus far has shown that picking second overall usually leads to wins. We look at the history, we see Catherine with the W, we see me with the W, and most recently Lisa with the W going second overall. All that being said, Steve, where are you going to draft tonight?
Another time I'm going to show you that, second doesn't have to win. I will take second.
Okay, that is if you're a betting person, which it sounds like most of us are, that's probably a good choice based on the odds. So Steve's going second. Adam, you know what that means? We're going to do our coin flip, figure out who's going to take first and who is going to take third. I will let you call it in the air. You ready?
Yeah, sounds good. Tails never fails.
It is heads again this week. To be fair, Tails has been failing a lot recently. To be fair, though, Tails failed last week and I failed even worse, so we don't know how that's going to work. All right, and with that, we can jump right into it. And this is an interesting board. There's a lot on the board. There's a lot going on. A lot of open categories. I'm curious to see where we're going to end up here. I am going to go with something that I feel good about, and I don't think I didn't have a lot of options that I liked afterwards, so I want to get it off the board. And it's a little negative to start, but we're going into fake good guys. So fake good guys is somebody that you think is a good guy. And by the way, tonight's categories and actions, it's not actually limited to males or guys. It's people, I think. But we're just saying good guys, colloquially. So for my fake good guy, I'm gonna go with somebody that has played a very famous Marvel character, and has done a lot of other endearing and nice TV, movie, other media platforms, and that's Tobey Maguire. And so, for those that don't know, Tobey Maguire comes across like a harmless, nice, good guy, but Tobey Maguire is apparently not such a good person. So I don't, if anybody's, this is, we didn't do a lot of research tonight. I promise it is not research based, but there's a book and a movie out there called Molly's Game, and it's about gambling in Hollywood. And essentially, Tobey Maguire is one of the most prolific gamblers out there. And he's been written up and marked as by far one of the worst tippers. They call it, quote unquote, the absolute worst loser. And it got to a point where he was paying people thousands of dollars to do humiliating actions like barking like a dog and doing other things. So somebody that I, growing up, who loved the Spider-Man movies and, was a fan of all that, when I learned all this about him, I couldn't believe it. And I don't think it's actually that well known, about his personality. So for me, I have to go with Tobey Maguire as my top fake good guy.
Didn't know that about him. I love how you're starting with fake good guy. People probably come here for the beer reviews and stay for the exposés of celebrities.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that about him, but he seems like pretty dorky. I don't know if I necessarily get full good guy vibes from him.
I mean, he wasn't objectively the worst of the 700 Spider-Man movies. So is he really that good?
Yeah, makes a good Spider-Man movie. I don't know if that makes him a good guy, but all that stuff sounds terrible.
And in terms of actual Spider-Man, if you include like Into the Spider-Verse, he's like the 700th Spider-Man.
Oh, he's way back there. He's way back there.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, is he that good to begin with? Hard to say.
I think all right. I mean, again, my childhood belief was that he seemed like a nice guy. He's playing the classic Peter Parker hero / underdog, character. And so I thought he kind of personified that, and I didn't realize, he was actually not very good. But anyways, all right. So Steve, your second pick, what are you going to go with?
Yeah. So the main reason I wanted to take second is because, these categories are wide open, and I feel like people could go very different directions. And I'm so glad you started with this one because you made a pretty normal argument, and mine's going to be way darker. So
there's a lot of dark ones out there. Like there's a lot of picks.
There absolutely are. Yeah, and I'm so glad to be bringing this to your podcast. You're welcome. So I went with, and I cannot pronounce this name because I even looked it up beforehand, but I forgot, the somewhat recent leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi.
Of course, yeah.
People. This is the thing. It's not like a random person that people don't know about. People definitely heard about this person when she originally was finally released from house arrest, and wasn't actually able to form the government. Was like the de facto head of the government, and she won the Nobel Peace Prize. She's obviously done some pretty good things. But then after winning that election, there was the question about whether she did anything to prevent the possible genocide.
Notable bad guy move.
That is a notable bad guy move.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. And
okay.
So what do you guys want to talk about?
I think Tito brings up a good point in the chat. First thing I think of when someone asks me about a good guy, and I say, "Oh, what about the president of Myanmar?" Yeah, very good guy.
I also like
Nobel Peace Prize helps. So.
Yeah, I like Julia's perspective. Like, no research this episode, but let me tell you about one person you don't know their name or what, and the other person I gave a biography.
I don't know how to pronounce the name. I know.
I wouldn't know.
Most people will know who this person is.
So on the graphic, do we just put president of Myanmar?
No. Do you want me to spell it for you?
No. Okay. Okay, Adam. Do you have something? Let's just get through this category and lighten it up as soon as possible.
Let's see what comes next. I assume it'll be kind of the same.
I had 3 on my list. None of them were touched. So I'm going with probably the before 2020. Everyone thought would fall into the good guy category. She's a known good guy. She's the daytime television host, Ellen. Everyone loved Ellen. She hosted the Oscars. She gives away all these things. She's super nice. She's charitable. But I saw a bunch of things describing her as one of the biggest villains of 2020. It was coronavirus, then probably her, and then Britney Spears' dad. But we won't get into that.
Hashtag free Britney, Lisa. We're thinking of you. Yeah.
At the end of every episode, she says, "Be kind." But she didn't treat her employees well at all. She makes $50 million a year. And during the COVID pandemic, she just didn't really contact them and didn't pay them. In contrast, Jimmy Kimmel said, "I'll pay all of you guys out of my own pocket. I know I make a lot of money. This is fair." Didn't contact them about the status of the show, what they were doing. People say that behind the scenes, she picks one of her staff members to be mean to each day. There's a bunch of interviews where she's kind of pressing for information that the guests don't want to give, and it gets kind of awkward. There's an awkward moment with Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades of Grey. Ellen turns out not to be a good guy, but you think she's a good guy, which makes her a great fake good guy pick. So I'm going with Ellen.
I think that's a choice that is, there's a lot of allegations, and it's probably a situation where there's smoke, there's fire. So the personification of her, what she is on TV versus what she's being accused of, and also, found to be off of TV. Yeah. Kind of goes in 2 very different directions.
I noticed there's a big change of pace here, and I think that's probably a good thing.
So I'm confident that is going to be the most negative part of the show.
Absolutely.
I thought, let's just get it out of the way. I don't want to say that, that was my fault for picking it first, but hey, everybody's hopefully still here and listening. So let's jump right into something a little more positive. Adam, what are you going to go with for category number 2?
I'm going to go with friend good guy move.
Friend good guy move.
There's a clear number 1 here, and it's helping you move.
Ooh, good choice.
No one likes moving. No one wants to do all the work of moving. If you have a good guy friend, they're going to say, "Oh, you're moving soon. Oh, I can help with that." This isn't because I'm moving next week and I'm looking for help.
And you're just out there fishing for, okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not it. But I think there's obviously, if someone helps you move, there's the obvious repayment of pizza and beer at the end of the day. But people offering to do that, that's a good guy move.
No.
I helped you move twice, and I don't remember getting pizza and beer from it.
I think you got a lot of beer from it.
Okay, all you did was cook for me for 4 years, which is, unless you made pizza, which you probably did a couple times.
Oh, he makes a mean homemade crust, so I have to believe he made some pizza.
And you did make beer as well. Never mind. Actually, you know what? Your answer is pretty good.
Yeah, yep. But Adam's homemade beer is, compared to the food quality versus the drinks quality, are very different.
Yeah, of course.
I've had the beer, I've had the food. I know which one I would pick first overall, but I agree. However, my counterpoint to that is, we're all over the age of 30. Is it still I say this having friends that have recently purchased a home. If I got a phone call being like, "Hey, you need to help move," I'd be like, "What? But I'm 30. I got a back and knees. Is it still the expectation? Is it still,
You had a back and knees at 20.
Yeah, but they were in much better shape, as was I. So that's why I'm just at this point, is it moving company? I don't know. That's just me.
I'm getting a moving company, but there was a time in our lives where I don't think people wanted to pay for moving companies. You're in college, you're in university, you have a ton of friends. You're saying, hey, we're moving this year to a bigger place. And the good guys would say, do you need any help with that? I can help.
Yeah,
out.
and Christy just made a good point to say the good guys don't need to be called; they would offer. And then I proceeded to explain exactly why I'm not a good guy. So that's great. Okay.
I always offer help moving. I will never help packing.
Oh yeah,
if you
that's
have
it.
packed and I show up, I'm gone.
Fair.
So.
All right, Steve, what are you gonna go with?
I definitely would have. I probably would have gone with that number one, but I did have another one that I was pretty happy with, which was putting people up, letting them stay with you. If you're traveling around and you happen to know someone who lives in a place, or for whatever reason, I think it's a real good guy move to say, yeah, we've got an extra space on the floor through extra bedroom, depends where you are in your life, and it's all yours, rent mostly free. I mean, yeah, or free, yeah, it could be free, I don't know.
Always a good guy move to host people. Once again, I think one of the key distinctions here is offering. So if someone's like, hey, we're thinking about visiting Victoria, if they say, can we stay with you? That's different than you saying, oh, you should stay with us. We have like a pull out or something.
Ryan can stay with me anytime he wants.
What?
I think a lot of people that are watching or listening can attest that my guest room is always open. There's no doubt about that. So I'm trying to make up for my moving conundrum that I just had a second ago. But you're right. Good choice. I personally, I think it's fun. It reminds me of like, not like sleepovers, but like, I love that stuff. I love hanging out with people. I love, sitting around eating dinner, drinking, and having people stay over. So I think it's a great thing, especially if you are visiting and it's, and otherwise would be super inconvenient. Good choice. I went a bit of a different direction. And I went a little more towards the theme of the show. And a good guy move, in my head, is looking out for you when you've had too much to drink. So I think we've all been there. We've all, been a little rough around the edges, not having the best time or thinking we're having a good time, but everybody else is, trying to figure out what to do with you. And so when you have a good guy coming in and just like keeping you along with the group and making sure you're doing okay and making sure you get home okay and all that kind of stuff, it's not the most fun thing to be doing when you're having a night out and you're supposed to be like enjoying yourself, but I think it's to just like quietly do it, or like not have to be asked, and just like, take the responsibility. I think it's a classic good guy move. I mean, I know I've never really had too much to drink around you two guys, so you guys, I don't think have probably ever done it for me, but
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell to us.
Definitely not.
You're saying you don't remember any instance where that's happened.
Thank you. Yes, let me rephrase my statement. I do not remember any instance where you've had to take care of me. But no, I think it's just a good thing to do, to look out for your pal when they need a little bit of TLC.
Very important line in the sand moment here. Do you just call them an Uber, or do you go home with them and make sure they get home safe?
I think that's a good question. I think it's a little bit status dependent. Like, if they're like actually non-functional or near non-functional, you can't trust that they're going to be get in the door okay, 100%. I think you need to go home. There's a couple people in our chat right now that have been in that situation, and Tito's been the good guy in that case, and as was Caroline, and I've seen real life examples of that. I'm not going to name any more names, just the people that were on the positive side of things. But yeah, you're like, I think if it's tough. I think if they need it, you gotta do it. You gotta bite the bullet. But otherwise, if they're just like, I don't know. I think it's a game time decision, and that's a tough one.
Friends who are overserved are like golf. You play the course. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Well said. Okay.
Yeah, everything is golf for Timmy. Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, that was a lot more. I think that was a lot more positive. All
right.
So
sorry.
With my next pick, I am going to go with the good guys. I'm just going to go back into the good guys. We're going to go into the people. This is a little bit longer list, so I think there's more options to choose from. But there's a couple of people I want to select. And I think the number one good guy who truly lived up to his name over a very long time period and has since retained, like, there's been no scandals, there's been no negative, and that's Mr. Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Everything about him is he's just a good person. He's a good guy. Case in point, fun story is there was not a fun story actually. It's a story. One of his viewers who is blind found out that he had fish, and she would watch a show, and she wrote him saying, you know, hey, I are your fish being fed? And she's a younger girl, and she's like, I'm worried about your fish. And so he would make sure on every episode after that date to say out loud when he was feeding his fish so that she would know that the fish were being taken care of. I've heard nothing but tireless, like he was tirelessly campaigning and supporting for all people and for all causes. And I just think he's the to this day, I view him as the pinnacle of being a good guy.
Definitely a nice guy. Don't know if he gives me like good guy vibes.
Are you gonna Webster's Dictionary me on good guy?
I'm just going off my definition. That's all I'm doing here.
I sorry, I did not receive your memo, but that okay.
He's a little too like slow moving. Like doesn't seem that fun.
Well, he was in his youth.
He does like trains, and I like trains. People that know me know that. But beyond that, I don't get much fun out of him. So I think good guys, in my definition, are not only nice guys, but they're also fun guys. So
you don't think you'd have fun with Mr. Rogers?
I think he'd talk slowly, and I feel like he'd talk down to me like he talks to kids. Maybe for a good reason, but you know.
You don't have the patience to have a conversation with Mr. Maybe you're not a good guy, Adam. No, we're not accusing each other. Sorry, I'm not. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Good guy vibes only, guys. Come on.
I'd just be sitting there being like, his name's Fred? I don't even know his first name.
Yeah.
Fred?
Yeah.
I'd be like, get to the point. Like, finish the story, man. You've been talking for a full episode here.
Okay. Yeah. Steve, anything to say on that one?
No, I think that's a pretty good. I don't know if I feel like fun has to be. I would disagree with that. I mean, but he also played a character who's supposed to be very, very nice. Like I don't know if we know much about his actual life, you know. Like we don't necessarily know about his personality and what he liked, apart from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
And we're not going to get into the research, but every account that I have read has been that he was the same on TV as he's same in real life as he was on TV.
These are the accounts you read during your research. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
During my perusing, yes.
No research, but if I did,
this is the finding. Okay, Steve, what are you coming up with?
I'm kind of torn between two here, but I think I'm gonna go with PK Subban.
Okay.
PK Subban is fun, Adam.
For those who don't know who he is, do
people not know who PK Subban is? For anyone who doesn't know who PK Subban is, he's a professional hockey player, formerly engaged to Lindsey Vonn.
Are they not engaged anymore?
It's like you don't even follow them on Instagram, whatever it is. No, yeah. Anyways, no. He played in Montreal for a long time, got traded to Nashville, and now he's on New Jersey. And the reason I picked him is because it's because of his work with the Sick Kids Hospital in Montreal. People may remember this.
I do remember
He used to always go visit, and to me, that's actually probably more important than the big news about him, which was that he donated $10 million to, and I think they named something after him.
And for the record, they traded him like 6 months later, which
not that long after, or it may not have been donated, but he promised $10 million.
I think he did. I think he did $1 million a year for 10 years or something like that.
And hockey, much as the other sports, it's not so much about the money, because obviously there are people with a lot more means than others, and he is one of those people. It's the fact that he always goes to visit, and so even after he got traded to Nashville, and this is why I'm picking PK. Even after he got traded to Nashville, he came back to the same sick kids hospital and brought a bunch of his Nashville teammates, which honestly points for them, to visit that same hospital even after he got traded. And I think that's a pretty good thing.
That's
And
a good
he
guy
still
move.
he still does work in Nashville. I definitely didn't do research, but he may or may not have rented like a carriage and brought some kids from a treatment center to the Nashville arena to meet like Roman Yossi and then to a concert. I don't know why he rented a carriage, but he also seems like a fun guy.
I was gonna
He was
say
like,
he does meet Adam's definition of good guy because he's got
He
good. He's got
absolutely
nice
does.
guy. It seems, and he's definitely got fun. He's definitely a fun guy for sure.
I'd have a beer with him. I'd get a little in the mix with him, which is one of his favorite sayings.
Yes.
It's been 7 weeks and you haven't said that until now. I was
I
waiting
know.
for that to come out. Interesting.
He does the point up move a lot. Cool
That's-
hats.
He
That's
was
like-
he rocks.
It's like finger guns.
He rocks
Yeah.
yeah. He's got some. The hat game is strong for sure.
Yeah, he's a good guy for sure. I'd like to have a beer with him. His career has gone down a little bit.
Absolutely
the past
has.
few years, but he's still making that money and still giving a bunch to.
You're really picking out like not a good guy, slow talker, getting worse at hockey. All right, Adam, what do you got? Let's see it.
I'm going with. I don't know how well this will go, but we'll see. I guess I was between two. The one I'm not going to take is the greatest quarterback in NFL history, Patrick Mahomes. So I'm not going to take him.
Thank God.
But I think he should get a shout out here. I'm going to take a guy who's just beloved by all. He's still kind of. I would like to have a beer with him. He shows up at kind of like random events, and just him being himself is like pretty cool, and people get excited about it. He's like, yeah, I'll take a photo with you, like no problem. Just like good guy. He shows up in random places, like Carly Rae Jepsen music videos. I'm going with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
He's just like the most likable guy ever. I did a little bit of research. I said Tom Hanks scandal. Couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
His sheet's clean.
He's never been on that show, so.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And if anything, I think you and I might be, because Tom Hanks played my guy in a movie. So like, what does that
That's
say?
my one issue with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody in our chat pointed that out, and they're like, "Well, if you have a movie about how good of a guy he was, they picked a good guy to play a good guy, so you can't really argue with that."
And so not only do I get the rest of Tom Hanks stuff, the person that they chose to portray your good guy is the guy I picked. So there's probably a generation of people who don't even know Mr. Rogers and just know Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers. So
I think it's a great, like, guy's been in Hollywood for how long? And zero, like, all positive, seems like a fantastic human being. Hard to do in that situation. My one counter would be similar to yours, which is like, he seems fun. He does. Like, I've seen him on the Graham Norton show, and he seems, but like, I don't think he's not PK Subban fun. He's probably more fun than Fred Rogers, but to be fair, Fred Rogers is like, he obviously had the age difference. But does he like really hit that fun category for you? I don't know.
Okay. Nothing is more fun than picking out sweaters with Fred Rogers.
I agree. I love sweaters.
It's fine.
I do love trains, so that made it tough to knock him. Yeah, I think he would have like 2 to 3 beers with you, which is typically what you want with a good guy. He's not going to get like too wild.
I'd like to see Tom Hanks get a little wild. That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe if the 2 to 3 beers go well, he'll invite me over one night for dinner with his family. His son's a famous actor, and he seems pretty nice as well. So
yeah, good choice.
Steve has mixed opinions on it, but whatever.
Is he that famous?
Yeah, and remember a year ago, there was like one day where
he hasn't been invited on the podcast. Sorry, Ed.
They canceled the rest of the NBA season.
Yeah,
they canceled March Madness, and Tom Hanks had COVID, and everyone's like,
"What's the worst of the three?
This is the end of it. This is the end that we've all been fearing."
Yeah,
the Mayans were right. It's today.
I think. I mean, that's not. They didn't say. Doesn't matter. so Tom Hanks, he seems like a good guy. He plays a lot of good guys. I don't really know what he does aside from be idolized as a good guy and appear in Carly Rae Jepsen videos for a song that you don't even like, along with Justin Bieber. So I guess if that's the only qualification, then Justin Bieber is a good guy as well, which I'm not sure if we're throwing that out there. And I'll add one other point, which is Tom Hanks. I feel like he's frequently called like America's dad, right?
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of countries, if someone says you're America's dad, that's like the same as being like, oh, you're Chaz's dad. And it's the worst kid in the class, and his name is 100% Chaz, and
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I
Fire.
thought about picking Tom Hanks, but like America's dad is that really the best?
That's what you let your kid grow up to be. I don't know.
Better than Myanmar's dad, I think.
Oh
so.
god! All right, guys, we gotta move this along here. We gotta move this along. we're deep into this. We've only done 3 categories, so we're gonna Adam. I'm gonna pass to you for the next round. We got 3 left. What are you going with?
I'm gonna go with stranger good guy move.
Stranger good guy move. All right.
And I think it happens everywhere. Sometimes I think I'm a decent driver. I'm not a great driver. But sometimes you get in situations where you're like, oh, I kind of messed up here. We all make mistakes. That's fine. I think a stranger good guy move is letting you merge. Some people don't let you merge. It should be kind of like a zipper effect where it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Some people, they don't play by those rules. And they'll stop and let you merge. And when you merge, you give the little hands up and say like thank you. I think letting you merge is a great stranger good guy move.
So you're selecting something that you're almost legally required to do in many circumstances. Is that what we're getting here?
That's a good counter argument. Maybe drivers are a little bit more aggressive here.
Well, I mean, Tom Hanks did raise you. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. So. He probably lives around there. He's cut you off a few times for sure.
Yeah, but sometimes you mess up. Sometimes you mess up driving. You're like, I missed a turn or something. I got to do something silly. Kind of just like letting you get away with a mistake.
Are you a waiver? I always do the middle.
I always do the wave.
You got to do the wave. You got to do the wave.
I'm not going to look back. I'm not going hand out the window. I'm just going hand up, which is half a thank you and half my bad. I know I'm not a messed up there. That one's on me.
I think it's. I mean, I appreciate it very much. I just find it funny that there's many circumstances where you're obligated, and if you don't, you could be at fault. I don't. You know. Anyways, I think it's not. It's definitely nice on like a busy like you're getting off the highway and you're trying to get on a busy road and it's not like a light and it's like there's I just
like potentially there's a weird exit and you have to like one goes north, one goes south, and you have to like merge in there, and you're like, I messed up. I'm trying to go south, and I'm in the north lane. Like, can someone let me in?
Mm-hmm.
A few people will go by, won't let you in, but the good guys will say, I've been there. I'll let you in.
Personally, I feel like it's more when you get caught in a lane that becomes like must exit.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that.
That's fair.
But apart from that, by the way, if anyone's upset with me criticizing Tom Hanks, it's not like I think he's a bad guy. And I find this kind of amusing. I was asked to come here to talk about good guys, and specifically to critique people as a good guy. I didn't really understand all of it, but I thought absolutely, if that's what you want, let's do that.
Listen, guys, I was approached as the leading expert on good guys. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You gotta
yeah.
All right, we've talked about traffic for 3 minutes now. This is great. Steve, what do you got?
I went with something that's it's not unrelated. I went with something that's just giving directions. It's something that actually happened to me not that long ago. Someone I'm gonna say old enough that maybe they're not too familiar with Google Maps. Was looking for a grocery store, and I was like, I have no idea, but I'm happy to look it up on my phone. I feel like it's something that you just do. There's often people lost. Sometimes you can tell because they have that look like I really have no idea where I am, or they're like looking around to try and find any sign to be like, I think I'm somewhere in the right city. Definitely happened in university a lot. You could tell when there are people who are touring because they just have a look about them that's like I don't know where I'm going. So I feel like giving directions. I think that's it's a good move.
There's been a lot of situations where I've been downtown in Toronto. People ask me a lot, and I like I'll have headphones in, and they'll still like wave me. The worst feeling is when you're like, I've lived here for a long time, and they ask you a very simple question, and you don't know the answer, and you're like, I don't know where that, I don't even know which street that is, and you have to like walk away awkwardly and be like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, what's it called? Blue?
Bluer? Oh no, I don't know. Yeah, that's, I mean, again, a good one, but
I think the better move is asking if people need directions when they clearly appear lost.
I
yeah.
tie that together,
That's
though.
fair.
I tie that together. I feel like a stranger would, if a stranger saw me lost and they were like, "Hey, do you need help?"
I'll be honest. What it says here is give directions. I apologize if I
That's
if
okay.
I wasn't.
But
if
again,
I
I mean,
didn't convey that.
Adam picked something that was mandated by law in some circumstances. You picked something that's been totally replaced by cell phones. I'm gonna go with something that, you could probably get Siri to do, but I doubt it. And that is the random compliment. And so there's something that you want to make a connection with somebody really quickly, and you want to be like best friends right away. Compliment them. Like, people don't compliment each other outside of their very, very close friends. Like, when was the last time that you were like out and about and somebody was like, "Hey, like that's a great coat," or like, "Nice shoes," or like, "Oh, I really like those glasses. Where'd you like?" When was the last time that you guys? And that, it boosts you up, puts a smile on your face. It's unsolicited. It comes from them, and it just really, like, just puts a smile on your face for the rest of the day, and you think about that. And then every time you like put that shirt on, you put those shoes on, you're like, "Hey, that stranger liked my shoes." I don't know. I think it's just such a nice thing to do that's so unnecessary. It's not super weird. It doesn't have to. It's just like, if I like saw a guy with like a nice, I'd be like, "Hey, nice jersey, man." Like, whatever. It's just an easy way to make a connection with a stranger. So I'm going with compliment.
It was on my list. One thing that I frequently do, if there's a team that I even remotely like and someone has it on like their hat or something, I'll say like go Blue Jays. Like, a kid was trying to sell me chocolate bars in a parking lot for like a fundraiser, and normally I wouldn't buy them, but he was wearing a Blue Jays hat, and I was like, go Jays. And I was like, yeah, I don't need chocolate bars.
It wouldn't have been weird if you hadn't said for a fundraiser.
I don't want it to appear like I was in some like
in a parking lot buying candy.
Yeah. By the way, Ryan.
Yeah.
Have I told you what a nice sweater you're wearing?
Oh, thanks. I really like it. Oh, thanks.
This is stranger good guy move, not friend good guy move.
Well, you know what?
Sorry.
Friends should compliment friends more as well. Adam, when was the last time you complimented me?
You're saying you don't like compliments from friends?
I gave you a compliment on your shirt to open the show.
And what are you doing in parking lots? I don't even know anymore.
Candy bars. Next candy bars is even worse.
But next time we drive next to each other, I'll make sure I let you in, because apparently that's more important to you. So that's fine. Okay. With that, we'll jump into our fifth category. So we got two left here, and I am gonna go. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the good guy drink order. And so, Adam, do you want to quickly provide context on what this is again?
Yeah. So if you're at a bar post-COVID, someone walks up beside you and they place their drink order. Based on their drink order, you're going to be like, that's probably a good guy. So
we kind of set this out, and we didn't say like, if you take beer, you eliminate all beer, like, because we're trying to keep it open to others. But my option for this one that I'm going to go with is actually the house beer. So a lot of bars you go to have like a house beer or like a go-to beer, and I think if you see a stranger go to the bar and they order just like the house beer, just the regular, like, they're obviously, they're not pretentious, they're not picky. They're just like, yeah, I just want a beer. I want to try what you guys are proud to be serving. Is kind of the thing. And I think if you just have the and I'm not saying like the generic brand name, but just the house beer, I think like people really get into that.
That's a good pick. I'm just thinking. That's a good pick. Like the good guys show up at the bar and they're like, I'm here to support you.
Yes.
I'm here to support this establishment. I will have whatever you're making here. So yeah, that's a good guy pick.
Oh, I went over better than I expected. All right.
It's so much better than what I have. It's terrible. Might as well admit defeat now.
No.
Steve, one potential issue with that is there's a brewery here called House, and they make house beer. And so I was at a restaurant once, and I said, I'll have your house beer. And they said, oh, you want house beer? I said, yeah, I will have your house beer. And they said, okay, sure. And then they brought back, and it was just a can of like this house beer, which is just like a light lager. And it's not anything to write home about. And so that one got me. So I've been hesitant to order house beer.
You gotta be specific.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That is a big stretch for an issue with it, but I like that there's an actual, there's an actual story. I do see that some people in chat are saying one thing that was stipulated was it's not a round of drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
And-
it is not.
and
You're ordering for yourself, not for everybody else.
Technically, what chat's saying could be for themselves.
If you do want to
in
do
which
10
case-
shots, yes.
In which case, that could be a problem. That could relate back to the calling the Uber sort of situation from earlier. But yeah, no, I think that was a pretty good pick. I definitely had that one as an option.
So what do you?
Think about today.
All right, Steve. What do you countering
So
with?
okay, I don't know if this one will fly. So I'm gonna try this one first.
We haven't dropped a
which
veto yet. We still have it in the pocket.
Well, yeah. Since you said house, which is not even,
I'm not eliminating types of beer.
I think this could work. Which is I would go with not necessarily the house beer, but something, because the house beer could be just what they. Anyways, I would go with something that's local to that area, especially like here. I find that there's actually a surprising number of breweries on the island, and once I learn what places are actually on the island, I'll be able to do this. But for the most part, I try and pick beers like when I go into the beer store. It's not called that here. I try and pick beers that are from like a local place, because I think these are often probably smaller places, and I think it's just a nice thing to support them.
I didn't have that on my list either.
Adam, all you drink
what
is
did you
local
have?
beers. Every week on this show, you have local beers.
Oh, that's terrible.
You literally talk about how you go to the brewery and support them, and that you'd go. Yeah.
It's like
Also,
my favorite
Hoyne is a
thing.
good example. That's impressive.
Didn't even cross my mind.
Okay.
What did you? I'm really excited to
Yeah.
hear.
What do you got? What do you got third here?
But first, criticize me.
Yeah. So Ryan chose the house beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve is choosing like a local craft beer.
Yeah.
So your order is basically like something like a local craft beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like that's a good pick too. I'm so done.
I'm so excited.
I'm curious. You seem you've already given up on this. What do you got? What do you have? Steve, by the way, sorry, I agree. I think if it's not house beer, local beer is the best way to go, because you're right. It's nice to support businesses in your area. So no downside there. We're just hoping that Adam falls so far behind here that it doesn't matter. So I'm not even going to criticize you.
Yeah, so sometimes when people order drinks at bars, they want to make sure that they don't look too they want to make sure they look cool. So they try to order cool drinks. And so I think good guys typically are just like, you know what? I want this.
You're calling it a daiquiri, aren't you?
No. Oh, kind of close. And so sometimes you're at like a Mexican establishment.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, am I going to have some frozen margaritas? It's not like an authentic Mexican establishment. It's like a Lone Star or like I don't know what other chains there are, but basically just like a Tex-Mex place, and
Yep.
you're like, am I gonna have the frozen margarita? Am I gonna have the beer? It's a tough choice sometimes to make. So I'm gonna go with the beer garita, which is a frozen margarita with beer upside down on top of it, because you look ridiculous drinking it.
But you don't care.
No one is cool when they order a beer garita, unless you're like, no one's cool ordering a beer garita.
Unless you're like
how many finger guns have they used?
Unless you're like a pro athlete that is just trying to get. Yeah, I don't think you look. You're right. I don't. That's a decision that you're making.
Yeah, and you're deciding. I don't care what people think about this. I'm just gonna have it. So you have a straw and just a full beer on top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my pick is the beer garita.
Interesting.
I thought you were gonna go for that other thing that honestly I forget what it is. That beer
Frozen?
and no, the beer and tomato whatever.
Oh, michelada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like beer and clamato.
Here's the thing. I can't picture Tom Hanks ordering a beer garita.
Oh, he would absolutely do it.
We've
Mr.
already
Rock.
ruled him out as a good guy. So,
I
we
cannot
can
picture
forget
that.
him.
I cannot. I mean, PK Subban seems like a super fun time, so I could definitely picture that.
PK Subban would order that.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
Could see that. No,
And then he'd say,
I think
"Tough
time." I think you're being hard on yourself. There was a really good pick mentioned that was on my list that we won't get too into, but that was and honestly, if one of you took like the house beer and I couldn't do it, it was on my number 2, and that's the soda water, because you're the DD and you're a good guy and you're being responsible.
Yeah,
well, that's tricky.
It was on there. So Big Cat, I see you. Good call on that one. But that's
another pick Adam could have used. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might see that and then go with it because you didn't like your pick. So I was curious to see how that was gonna go. All right, Adam, we got to jump into the last one here. We're running up on an hour. So what do you got for your last category? You have the first pick, redemption. What are you gonna take?
So it's good guy phrase, right?
It is.
So this one I use a lot, and I need to make a very clear distinction on it. So it's going to be, thanks, bud. Pause. You too. And the pause is important because sometimes if you say it too fast, that's not a good guy move. Because you're like, thanks, bud. They're like,
example.
Yeah. Enjoy your meal when a waiter comes and gives that to you. And you're like, thanks, bud. You too. And then you're just like, I feel like an idiot. Like I didn't think about like they're not going to eat this.
I've done that. I've done that at the movie theater. Enjoy the movie. Thanks, you too. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Enjoy your flight.
So you have to say thanks, bud. Pause and be like, are they also enjoying this?
No. I see.
You too. Yeah. So that's why the pause is important. So thanks, bud. You too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's a good one. It's friendly. It's
also not thanks, buddy. If someone hits you with a bud, good guy move. Someone hits you with a buddy, it's, do we have a problem here?
We're drawing lines buddy? That I was not anticipating we would draw.
What about bud with 2 Ds? Like, where's the line? Is all I'm trying to figure out.
I can't spell, so it doesn't matter to me.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
Thanks.
I didn't mean to bring that up.
Thanks, buddy. I think I call people buddy. Friend, both ways. I think it depends on the tone of your voice.
Uh-oh. Does that mean you're trying to fight a lot more people than we realized?
No, buddy, come on.
Well,
I don't know.
Sounds aggressive.
All right, Steve. What do you got to counter that?
This was the category I was like, I don't.
This is the most obscure category.
This is the one I was most excited to be second for, just to have someone else say something first.
Yeah.
Mine's very generic. I mean, I feel like Adam's was a little bit more specific. I feel like what a good guy says is how can I help? You know, it's recognizing there's something that maybe could use some changing, and maybe you can help, and just saying how can I do that?
Sometimes
feel free to try and tell me why that's not a good guy move.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah. Immediately jumping in here. Usually.
You were coming out of your chair. I could see that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
So sometimes you're doing something, you're trying your best, and someone comes up, say, "Oh, how can I help?" And you're like, "I've got this. Leave me alone." And like you deep down, you don't got it, they're just like half shaming you that you're struggling with something.
Okay.
So it's almost like a shame play. They're like, oh, you look like you need some help. Like, how can I
Wow,
help?
you really spun
And it's like,
this.
and it's like
I mean, Adam and I sat next to each other for years at work, and this was basically our interaction.
worse.
Adam's still working on the same thing he was working on day one I got there, and I'm like, oh, how can I help? 3 years later, and he's like, oh my God, I got this. How
Like-
many times do I have to tell you?
Like, imagine the situations like you're parallel parking, which is put some stress on some people, not naming names, but this guy. And like maybe you're like struggling with it. If someone comes and knocks on your window, say, how can I help? You're like, oh, you didn't.
So I will say, and I think that's totally fair. I'm imagining it as like you've heard someone say something that they're kind of struggling with, and you say, how can I help in response? And one acceptable answer is you can't. Get out of my face. Well, I wouldn't say that. That's so aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, how can I help, buddy? That's interesting. I never thought of it with that spin on it, and with that this one I think I'm going to be safe from that criticism. I don't think I'm going to win this. I think you guys had some good ones, but for my answer I was like, I don't know, what does a good guy say? And so I went to the expert without going to the expert. So I went back through my chat history with Steve in Discord over the last 30 days, and there were a number of phrases that were in there. And you had lots of the classics. You had no worries, happy to, like exclamation point, happy to. You had any time, but my favorite was, oh my gosh, no problem. So I'm gonna go with oh my gosh, no problem, because it, number one, solidifies that it's not serious. He didn't drop the G word. He literally said gosh, and I was asking him for something, and his response was, oh my gosh, no problem, exclamation point. And so I thought, man, if I had to ask somebody for help, oh my gosh, no problem is probably the best response that I could get. So that's my good guy phrase.
It's true. I'm a dweeb. What?
It's very like Philip Rivers-esque. Like, he doesn't swear. Oh my gosh, yeah, no problem.
I could not believe it was actually gosh and not God, or
Okay, to be fair, it's normally because anytime Ryan says something that no one would construe as critical, it's like, hey, I'm sorry to ask this, but I'm like, yeah, no, it's not a problem. I don't know. Well, I guess I say, oh my gosh, no problem. But,
yeah, I don't even know what. I don't think I.
That's
asked,
just some of the old flair,
That was I think you probably finger gunned while you typed that one out. You were typing and finger gunning at the same time. I mean that. And nothing says impressive. Finger guns like oh my gosh. So yeah. No,
I really hope Steve remembers this exact line and was like, oh yeah, that was autocorrect.
I don't.
You made it easy for me, so I appreciate that. And with that, we have made our way through. We're running a bit late, but we're doing a-okay here. So why don't we quickly go through the picks and summarize our choices for this evening. And Steve, I'm going to start with you in any order you want, whatever you want.
Great. Well, I'm going to start with number 1, where I picked for fake good guys. I picked Aung San Suu Kyi.
That's a winner.
It's, you know what? It started us off in a direction that I don't think you guys have been before, and
we went straight up from there, so that's good.
This is the first time
there was
genocide on.
It could have just been your run of the mill persecution. I may have overstated. I'm not sure. Then I went good guys, PK Subban. Let's forget about the first pick. It's fine. I mean, it was to pick not good people who's had a good reputation. Doesn't matter. PK Subban. Friend, good guy moves was letting people stay with you. Stranger, good guy moves was giving directions. Good guy drink order was something from a local brewery to support those places. And good guy phrases was how can I help in a non-demeaning way.
Okay. That's gonna be hard to fit in a little square on Instagram, but duly.
But But look,
the non-demeaning part. On the,
I did not say that, and if it's hard to fit on an on a little Instagram square thing, then Well, Adam can always say he's having trouble, and I can say, "How can I help?" So it's all good.
I'm good, buddy.
Okay, Adam, what
All right.
what do you got for answers here?
My good guy is Tom Hanks. My fake good guy is Ellen DeGeneres. My friend good guy move is helping you move. My stranger good guy move is letting you merge. My good guy drink order, my number one pick, Beer Garita. My good guy phrase is, thanks, bud. You too.
Okay.
Ryan, or Timmy, what do you got?
Thanks, bud. Bracket pause. You too. Okay. For good guys, I have the one and only Mr. Rogers. For fake good guys, I have Tobey Maguire. Look it up. You won't be disappointed. For friend good guy moves, I have taken care of you when you're drunk. For stranger good guy moves, it's given a random compliment, For good guy drink order, I'm going with the house beer. And for good guy phrases, in the immortal words of Steve, oh my gosh, no problem. That that sums up the draft picks. What about the other drafts? I think I've seen you guys kind of work your way through them. Adam, how was your triple hopped IPA this evening?
I think they should continue with this experimental hop, personally. I love McKellar. It was a good one for sure. Would drink again if they decide to make it a full-time beer rather than a limited release.
How would it taste in a beer garita?
Probably not good.
Okay.
Probably not good. But you need a specific type of beer for a beer burrito.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I think you need a specific type of person for a beer.
Agreed.
Yeah, good guy. A good guy.
What about you, Steve? How was your draft?
The good, clean fun, in case anyone's forgotten. That's probably the only category I won was in beer names. It was actually pretty good. I like that it's not like 90% or whatever normal IPAs are. It's only a measly 6.4. So and it's not too much on the hops. Maybe not 3 types of hops. I don't know. They don't always say here, but I like
They don't put a number on it.
Well, for some people it's just not that important.
Fair.
I do the research. I find out how many types of hops they have.
I was told no research allowed.
We were going away from research this week, although we may have. I don't know if we failed that one. I had the Squeeze the Day Grapefruit Sparkling Ale by Muskoka Brewery. It was natural. I mean, my mouth I don't love grapefruit normally, but I thought it was good. It was tart, but still pretty refreshing, and I think it'd be very nice on a cottage deck on a nice nice summer day. So no, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. So definitely would drink again. And with that, we're going to Steve. I don't know if is there any final remarks that you want to say? Any last second shout outs? Anything you want to give here?
I think just the one that kind of everyone was expecting. If all of the people who didn't watch but voted for Lisa are looking for someone to vote for, I will accept those votes.
There's a lot of them out there. We don't even know half of them. They've never seen the show, but they do exist. So that's
what I'm looking for. If they haven't seen it, I think I got a shot.
That is a great crowd to go after. I feel like Lisa will put in the good word for you. So that's a good. I don't know. That's a good request. I don't know, Adam. What about you? How are you feeling about this week?
I think it's okay. I don't know. There's always one category when it happens that just stresses me out. So I think we all know what it was this week.
Yeah, we do.
All of them, but especially the beer garita.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thanks, Steve, for coming on. We appreciate you
very much.
Great hat, Brian. You like that type of thing, right?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah. Every time I put it on, I'll think of you. I appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. For those that are watching, if you haven't already, I know many of you have, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that follow button on the stream so you can see when we go live. We do this every Tuesday night. We change it up every week, different topics every week. But every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also post the show's recordings for past shows on Spotify and on YouTube, and for other things that if you listen to podcasts on other platforms, you can find them there. Of course, you can find our Instagram at Drafts and Drafts Podcast. We're going to put the poll up tonight, and it will be up all day tomorrow. So feel free to submit your vote anytime, or just send us a DM on Instagram with who you think should win. And I think with that, the picks have been made, and the kegs have certainly run dry. We will be back next week, and we appreciate everybody that's been watching tonight. And so we will be on, for those that are watching live, we will be on for the after show momentarily. Make sure you stick around. Give us a couple minutes. We'll be right back. But again, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.